Crowds of Palestinian youths went on a violent rampage in East Jerusalem on Thursday, stoning buses, overturning cars, and facing down Israeli riot police at the holy city's most sensitive religious site following the shooting death of a local man. The sudden burst of violence immediately clouded fragile peace efforts, even as the Palestinian president signaled he may back away from threats to walk away from the negotiations next week if Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu proceeds with plans to resume settlement and construction in the West Bank. I cannot say I will leave the negotiations, but it's very difficult for me to resume talks if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declares that he will continue his settlement activity in the West Bank and Jerusalem, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas said in an address to U.S. Jewish leaders late Tuesday in New York, according to a transcript of the event obtained by the Associated Press. The violence was a vivid illustration of how sensitive and combustible the situation in East Jerusalem can be. The competing Israeli and Palestinian claims to the area, home to key Jewish, Muslim, and Christian holy sites, have frequently escalated into clashes and intense fighting. Although anything could happen, I do expect Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas to continue with direct peace talks past the September 30th expiration date of the settlement freeze. Some reports have the expiration date as September 26th. Either way, I look for Israeli officials to heed to U.S. and international pressure to extend the building freeze for an undisclosed amount of time. I say undisclosed because I believe the Palestinians and Israelis are secretly coming to an agreement to allow some settlement building to take place while tying other projects up in red tape or rejecting them altogether. The next step in the Palestinian-Israeli direct peace talks could be the determining of borders as laid out by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Her thinking is that once borders are established, the settlement freeze is no longer an issue. Both Israel and Palestine would have their established borders that would be internationally recognized, thus ending the dispute over West Bank settlements. But there are more problems to resolve. The next issue will be Israel's security. As you know from my reports, Israel insists that they maintain a military force on the Jordanian West Bank border to prevent the infiltration of military weapons. Of course, Palestinian officials are dead set against any Israeli troops remaining in the West Bank once a Palestinian state is created. In the end, I believe international troops from trusted countries will be strategically placed throughout Palestine and on the border to forcefully monitor any possible flow of weapons. I believe this forceful monitoring of weapons and the maintaining of strict control over the area plays into the prophecy of Daniel 9:27, where the future Antichrist will confirm or make strong his covenant. I don't believe the ultimate peace accord will have a UN-style peacekeeper format, but more of a strict military presence that will use deadly force. At this time, Israel would not accept such a presence, but in time, I look for them to give in to pressure. The fate of Jerusalem will be determined in the latter stages of the eventual 7-year peace plan. Ultimately, it will be the reason the Antichrist brings the armies of the world against Israel, as prophesied in Zechariah 12:2-3. Are we living in the middle of the prophesied peace process that will lead to Middle East peace? I believe we are. Will Mr. Obama be the one to bring this peace? Only the Lord knows for sure, and only time will tell, but it looks like we are well on our way to fulfillment of Bible prophecy. But first must come the rapture of the church. This is Terry Malone with a Calvary Prophecy Report.